Good evening and welcome to AdCast. I'm Carl Vervisch and I'm right here with my lovely co-host, Cris Vatalaro.
Thanks. Hi, and I would also like to welcome our viewers back. I hear that we are worldwide this evening. We have some viewers. Some of our troops are watching over in Iraq, so thank you very much. We love you guys. Yeah.
Wow.
They watched last month, too. So
I am touched.
Thank you very much, Captain Noel.
Wow. Well, that's really cool. We're also, guys, we're here with, you might have heard of him, Vinny Tafuro of Tafuro Communications.
Thank you for having me tonight. Appreciate being here always.
Vinny is joining us here for the old Advertising Insights segment.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight, it's a little different. We're going to focus in on the young professionals of Tampa Bay because that's what we've been talking about all show long.
Mm-hmm.
Vinny, you've been part of the young professionals community here for a while.
Yeah, a little while, yeah.
A little while. And, you know, you've seen what's happened. I think from what I've heard from our other guests, from what I know intrinsically, if not otherwise, Tampa's growing as a YP community, obviously as a community as a whole, but a big part of that is people our age getting out there, making a difference. What have you seen?
I've seen a similar story. I've been involved with Ad2 about 5 years now. I think I get an award for that. But when I got involved, YPs and young professionals were kind of a new name. Ad2's been around for roughly 30 years now. And other than the JCs, most of the groups are relatively new within the last 5 to 6 years. And I think it's been a learning curve for everybody in the community to find out what our purpose is, what our memberships are, because you'll know that, you know, we age out at 32. A lot of the groups, they consider young professionals 35, some of them 40. So there's a wide variety as we learn what comprises that demo.
Sure. And I think, I mean, and everyone that's doing that is doing it for a reason. People kind of, like, I get people that aren't exactly happy with, you know, at Ad2 we're 32. And people say, well, I want to be part of it. You know, it's not that we don't like people that are over 32. The reason these young professional groups have that limitation is so that they maintain the leadership base at that age, and they give people that are this age an opportunity to be leaders.
Exactly. I know when I first got involved with my business about 10 years ago, I joined a local chamber, and as at the time a 21-year-old owning my own business, joining a chamber was a big step. Getting involved on the board was a step I didn't take. Little did I know at the time if I had asked, I'd have had a board position probably. Whereas when I joined Ad2, within about 6 months, I was recruited to be on the board because it's in that group that they look for leadership because people are just developing those skills.
Sure. Now, I've heard a number of different, you know, we talked to some different guests tonight from different places about what some of the keys might be to, as you said, it's a learning process for a lot of the young professional groups right now. Everyone's trying to figure out, you know, how it works, what to, you know, how to have a successful group, because there are so many out there right now, and we all know, you know, not everyone's going to make it. There's going to be people gravitating to certain places. I've heard it's all about focus. I've heard it's, you know, obviously a lot of the people that we brought on tonight had a clear cause. They were directly tied to a nonprofit organization. What do you think is the key to running a successful YP group?
I think besides having a focus, which most of them do have some sort of charitable organization or industry or business that they're focused on, allowing the leaders of that organization the freedom to make mistakes as they go, to plan their own things, to create their own identity, but also making sure that you provide them the financial or other support resources to make sure they're successful. Because in this age group, and I know from my experiences as past national Ad2 chair with chapters around the country, that some organizations didn't build that leadership well, and they could cycle through 3 presidents in 1 year because nobody really planted the seed to go, okay, we need to grow the organization, need to grow the leadership, as opposed to let's just do this event, do it now, and not focus on building leadership.
Yeah, it's just the here and now, not the future. Yeah,
it's the difference you'll hear from in some leadership books and management. You know, the difference between a great manager or a leader. You know, are you managing the here and now for your organization, or are you working to lead that organization so other people can manage it? And that's something that everybody learns.
Which is important, especially when you're talking about a YP group where you're going to age out eventually. Everybody is. And you have to, like, you can't make you can never make yourself irreplaceable in that kind of group.
You have to learn to lead with the idea of somebody leading behind you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the huge lesson people learn through it, but it's also one of the largest stumbling blocks that young professional groups have.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the biggest opportunity, though.
Now, Cris, if you could quickly, I'm interested in, sort of your perspective on all this. I mean, you've come into the Ad2 organization, and
I learned about Ad2 when I was still living up in Detroit. So I did research before I moved to a new city. And I think that's key for a lot of people. If you're going to be graduating, and you should do some research on the town that you're living in right now, or the town that you're looking to move to, because that could change your decision.
Sure.
I was also looking at Chicago, and I didn't find my little close-knit home that it didn't seem homey to me.
I gotcha.
And that's one thing I really loved about Tampa, is that I felt like I could come down here and make a home for myself.
It's true. I mean, and we're trying to, obviously, Mike Compton and everything that's going on with the YP Unite group is focused around trying to make it easier for people to get involved and figure out how to get involved. But really, at the end, if you're out there and you want to get involved in young people, it's really up to you.
Mm-hmm. Do some
All
research.
the information is on the internet, because that's where we live.
Ask around,
exactly.
too. So.
Vinny, thanks for coming on the show again. We always love to have you here. If guests want to find out more about you and your blog, where can they find you?
Oh, it's blog.tafurocommunications.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Vinny.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
We would also like to thank our sponsors, Tampa Digital Studios and TBT.
And thanks to all of you at home. We have a very exciting musical guest coming up next.